Hi, I'm Giulia and today we're going to talk about tsunamis versus ordinary waves. First of all, we can analyze the origin of the name because the name tsunami is formed by two different Japanese words that are tsu, and means harbor in English, and nami, that means wave. So the literal meaning of this expression is harbor wave. In fact, if we reflect that tsunami doesn't attack directly the boats in the open sea, but it arrives also, as we see in these photos, to damage the coast and also the cities. So if we can summarize everything, we can say that tsunami is a series of ocean waves, and the aids of these waves can arrive at just 30 meters, and this can cause destructions. Then the first thing that comes to our mind when we talk about tsunamis maybe the similarities with ocean waves. The physics has a very important role in it because both tsunami waves and ocean waves can be analyzed with the same physical quantities. We have the period, the wavelength, the amplitude and the speed. The first one is the period, and it's the time that elapses between two different waves, and we see that it's very different from tsunami and ocean waves because ocean waves are more fast. In fact, we see that they last for just 5 and 20 seconds. Then we have the wavelength, that is the horizontal distance between two different waves, and tsunami waves can reach also 500 kilometers. Then we have the amplitude that represents the height of the wave, and the tsunami waves can reach 60 meters. And to get the similarity, we can think that 60 meters are the same of a building of 14 floors. And then at last we have the speed, and we see that tsunamis can reach a speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour. What causes a tsunami? We know that normal ocean waves are caused just by currents or tides and also wind. Instead, tsunamis can be caused by different phenomena, like underwater earthquakes, that is the most common, and they happen when the ocean floor start to go up and down, and this can cause, like in this photo, some ripples that arrive next to the coast. And then we have volcanic eruptions, underwater landslides, and a fall of an iceberg, but these are less common phenomena. What happens when it hits land? Once generated, the energy of a tsunami is constant. That means that the speed depends by the depth. In this case, when a tsunami is going next to the shore, the speed decreases and the wave increases its height. In this way, the tops of the waves travel faster than their bottoms, and so they arrive next to the shore with a speed just like 90 kilometers per hour, causing destruction. And nothing is able to stop a phenomenon like tsunamis, because even people sometimes build barriers next to the harbors. They can cause the loss of human lives, so a lot of victims. We can also analyze some tsunamis that happened in the past. The first one, that is very important, happened in 1883, and it happened because of a volcano eruption in Indonesia. Then we have in 1960 a tsunami in Chile, and the last two dates, 2004 and 2011, happened in Indonesia and Japan, and they are considered as the most destructive tsunamis ever because they had a magnitude of 9.1. The most areas at risk in the world are in Alaska, in California, Mexico and Chile regarding the America, and then look to the other part, we have India, Philippines, Indonesia, China and Japan. Tsunamis unfortunately cannot be predicted because even if there are a lot of scientists that try to collect data such as the conditions of the ocean floor, Tsunamis cannot be predicted, so there are a lot of centers like in this photo that try to collect data, but unfortunately they cannot be predicted, and so people just built a lot of barrier next to the harbor. And at the end I put this video to summarize what we have said.
A tragic scene. Entire cities flooded, entire towns inundated, an unending stream of floating debris, buildings, cars, people swept away in an unstoppable wave. It's a brutal reminder, tsunamis are dangerous and unpredictable. But what causes these giant waves and what can be done to minimize their impact? Tsunamis can strike with little warning because they're usually triggered by a sudden displacement of ocean water, like volcanic eruptions, landslides, meteorites, or the most common culprit, earthquakes. In the deep ocean, a typical tsunami wave is barely noticeable and poses little threat. But the waves can spread out thousands of miles, rolling across the ocean at speeds up to 600 miles per hour. As the rolling water reaches the shoreline, the wave's friction against the shallower floor slows it down and raises its height. By the time it reaches the shore, the wave can be as tall as 100 feet. Unlike ordinary waves, a tsunami wave doesn't crest and break. Instead, it moves forward like a solid wall of water that crashes over the coastline, obliterating almost everything in its path. And just when you think the danger is over, it recedes, dragging everything back to the ocean. Tsunamis have multiple waves, which can continue to hit the shore for several hours, causing even more destruction. The word tsunami originates from Japan, a country that sits on a geographic location that makes it an easy target for these natural disasters. In 2011, it was struck by a tsunami that claimed nearly 16,000 lives. But the deadliest tsunami in history is believed to be the Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004. The U.S. Geological Survey estimated that tsunami released the energy equivalent of 23,000 Hiroshima-type atomic bombs. An earthquake created an estimated 600-mile rupture on the ocean floor. This caused the tsunami to form and then travel at the speed of a jetliner, reaching over 11 countries, traveling over 3,000 miles, killing more than 220,000 people. Because they can strike so quickly with such deadly force, tsunami warning centers around the globe are on constant alert, monitoring underwater earthquakes large enough to trigger massive waves. Their ultimate goal is to alert vulnerable coastlines and give residents time to seek higher ground before a tsunami hits.